Now, listen, you guys. It seems like Nicki Minaj decided to finally apologize to Advocate BBL, and Advocate BBL ended up even saying the worst about Papa Bear, and that tweet currently is sitting at 124,000 likes. Okay, these are the same people that turn around and say that kids are off limit, but this time where Advocate BBL decided to take it is very interesting. We're going to have that conversation. And we're also going to be talking about Ice Spice and Arrogant Tae. Ice seems to be out there taunting Advocate BBL. And at the same time, that girl that sits on the Rory and Mal podcast, there are people who generally just have dark energy. They don't care for fairness. They are just vile human beings. I mean, when you look at her, you can tell, you can sense even her energy. And I really am not surprised by this. And it also goes to prove what I always say on this channel, that as Black women, we don't need external enemies because we are each other's, worst enemies. Okay. That girl literally would never hold Advocate BBL to any standard whatsoever. And these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video. Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the tea blog. I trust you guys are doing well, and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great, you guys. I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. But wait a minute, before I do that, allow me to just send a quick shout out in celebration of the 20,000 subscribers that we have. First off, today I'm going to be shouting out Tandisile, and I'm also going to be shouting out Lerato. I'm also going to be shouting out Michelle Williams, David Johnson, Grant Bianca, and at the same time, I'm also going to be shouting out the Marcus mom. You guys, I see you and I see what you've been doing. Artofex, Mara, really. Chinasa Gloria, thank you so much, you guys. I don't take you for granted. Veronica, oh my God, now I'm going to shout out everyone, but okay. I will do more of these in my next video. I do appreciate you guys. So let's move on to what I was talking about. So after everything that transpired, Nicki Minaj decided to basically apologize, to culture and to advocate BBL. I would like to take you back to where this thing started and why, advocate BBL started saying that Nicki Minaj was talking about her child disrespectfully. Okay, it all started when Nicki Minaj gave an example to say that, well, you always talk about black people and call them rochis. So are you now telling me that now you have children also by a black man, you're gonna love them being called such? And to advocate BBL, that translated to Nicki Minaj speaking on her children. Now, what I'm beginning to realize is that all this while she has been wanting to say things about Papa Bear, but she was looking for a way to justify that. I mean, for months, they've been shading the little boy, saying that, oh my God, he doesn't know how to read, because the way he was so quick to say that I've got tea on your 5-year-old on Papa Bear is insane. It seems like she was ready, because how can you even look at a child? Let's say even if the child has special needs, how can you look at that and say this is tea? Like, how can you even look at something like that and say it's tea? Does it even make any sense? Like, imagine meeting a child for the first time and the child is on the spectrum, and you say, one of these days I'm gonna need to keep this information, I will use this as a dig to the mother. And on top of that, she's also pregnant. And then she also goes ahead to say that, pray for me, there's dark energy surrounding my child. And somehow black people will find a way, women especially, will find a way to justify this, and they would dismiss everything, saying that, well, Nikki is problematic, she's bitter. They won't even listen. They won't even pay attention. They will just come to the conclusion that, well, Nicki Minaj is a bitter woman, she's so aggressive. And these are the same mouths that are out here fighting in the streets, saying that, oh, well, we're fighting against stereotypes, when you're propelling the stereotypes yourself. And it's sad. I don't know if it's internalized our word or what, but anyway, as expected, Nicki Minaj decided to apologize to culture. And let me know if this apology warranted the response that Advocate BBL ended up giving out, because it's absolutely insane. So this is what Nicki said. Nikki said, "Dear culture, the truth is, I did all of this for a bigger purpose, and one day you will understand. You are a cute child, and lots of kids have cute little funny looking gums before they grow into all of their features. One day you will see this. So I have to say, I apologize. As a child of God and queen of my community who look to me for integrity, you are an innocent child and don't deserve any of this." Clearly, to culture, she doesn't have anything negative to say. She's not calling culture out of her name. She's even saying that even the gum jokes that, people have been saying, it's normal, you will grow into your features and you're cute. This is Nicki Minaj's message to her child. Okay? And then she goes on to say, one day your mother, aunt, and many more will be brought to their knees for what they have said and tried to do to my young prophet or beautiful boy. Take care, my darling. This isn't who I am. And you can tell that all her smoke is with the mother. But she's still acknowledging that, well, regardless of the fact that Advocate BBL has said words to other people's children, culture doesn't deserve to be, you know, put through this. And she's apologizing for getting provoked to the point where she got to say culture vulture and all of this stuff, because that came after Advocate BBL had said, "I've got tea on your child." That's when, and she was like, "Dare me." And that's when Nikki said culture vulture, so that she can get to say whatever she's been holding in her chest. And after this apology, what Advocate BBL comprehended is just something that I look at and I'm like, for all the black people who justify this, I just, you get to a point where you're disappointed by people. Your own people disappoint you. Like, and I'm not even talking about just African Americans. Like, black women across the world have been praising this girl. And it seems like for some reason, I don't know what goes on. I'm telling you, I've been seeing people from all over the world. Is it a spell? I don't understand, because that particular like where she was calling Papa B, Papa, a word that I won't mention here on YouTube. There are a lot of disgusting things that, she said, insinuating that, Papa B is going to grow up to become a PDF. It's just dark energy. There is no way anyone can resonate with that dark energy. And that to be a response to the apology that I just read you. What does that tell you? And as if that's not enough, somebody came through and said, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh my God, the whole time Cardi was subbing Papa B. And she came and she liked that tweet. So now insinuating that what? All the time they have been saying A, B, C, D together with the sister, they were coming at Papa B. And you guys turn around and say that Nicki Minaj is crazy for feeling offended that they were coming for her child. And you guys, if you don't remember, a couple of months ago when she went to the Kamala rally and people were laughing at her because of the speech that she delivered, I'm talking about Advocate BBL, Nicki Minaj put a laughing emoji. And immediately she went to her Twitter. That's when she said, "At least my kids can read." Someone is laughing at you for the speech that you delivered, which seemed ill-prepared, rushed, and your response is taking a dig at her child. And somehow people will act like this didn't happen, which just makes me believe that as black women, sometimes I feel like we deserve everything that comes to us. We do. I think we do, because I think we don't even need any external enemy. We fight each other on our own. We hold other people of different races, to such a regard that I don't even know if, like, I don't get it. People will act like this didn't exist. And just the nasty behavior, it disgusts me. And it's the evil energy, the evil aura that she has for me. And it seems like a lot of people do resonate with that. People will poke you for a very long time, and when you finally respond, just because they don't like you, they don't even listen. And this is the reality of the world that we live in, you guys. Can be at home. It can be wherever. They wait for the reaction. And no matter how much good you can do for people, at the end of the day, when you react, you become the bad guy. Because Nicki was supposed to just lay low and let them do what they did in 2018. In 2018, she wasn't responding like this. She wasn't clapping back. She wasn't doing all of this. But still, she didn't win. They still were able to label her bitter and stuff. And everybody ate it up. And in 2025, she's finally clapping back and responding. And people are still saying that she's bitter. There are multiple, pictures, videos of Advocate BBO admitting to talking about children in arguments. A literal screenshot of her calling a deceased child a roach and a monkey. That is there on the internet. It happened. It did. It happened, you guys. But we didn't see this. We never saw any outrage. Even up to now, after that, picture is circulating, they are not holding her accountable. So, like I said, I'm just at a point where I'm like, we deserve whatever that comes to us as Black women. We try to walk around in activism, in, oh my God, treat us nicely, oh my God, do this, but within ourselves we don't stick up for each other. If Advocate BBL had said the things that she was saying about Papa Bear, about a YT child, regardless of who it was, it could have been Taylor Swift's child. Guess who was going to come in the field to defend the child? It was going to be Charlie. That's how other communities stick together. But the same cannot be said about us. And this is not just like I say, this is a worldwide thing. I've seen people from South Africa, I've seen people from Kenya, I've seen people from Nigeria, I've seen women from all over the world supporting this woman doing this and even calling Nicki Minaj crazy. Like the moment that they hear Nicki and Cardi, before they even hear the story, their immediate thing is just Nicki's dramatic, she's aggressive. And these are the stereotypes that we fight for. We fight against, I mean. So I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this entire ordeal. Do you ever think that we'll get to a point where, as Black women, we stick together and we stop being our own enemy and holding other women that don't rate us with a higher regard? Because if she's looking at a dark-skinned woman and thinking, oh, that's a roach not on my level, and you're a Black person, you think just because you're supporting her, it's going to be different. No. She's the same girl that goes on spaces to cuss out her fans. Okay? Literally cuss them out. When they were asking her for music, she was treating them like that. And for some, I think you have to have some dark energy for you to resonate with something. That's just my conclusion. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. I'm sorry, this was a little bit emotional for me. That those last tweets for me, it's just dark energy. But Spice and Arrogant Tae, it seems like they're out there having fun. They were spotted together listening to some Nicki Minaj, and Ice Spice was singing along, in the background, and people were like, "Oh, Ice is actually being subtle about, everything that went down with Advocate BBL, because clearly she is doing this to taunt her." And she was also spotted singing Starships with her friend. And so let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. Do you think that, well, Ice Spice is going to be coming at Advocate BBL, or do you think that behind the scenes they've been told to touch not the favorite species? Because it seems like she's well protected in the industry. No one is allowed to touch her. No one is allowed to diss her. And people celebrate that. Anyway, that being said, the last thing that I want to talk about, I want to talk about that girl that is on the Rory and Mo podcast. These are the things that I always talk about here. You hear in this conversation, Nicki Minaj will be, they will try to make sure that Nicki is held accountable for the things that she said, but not once do you hear them mentioning everything that Advocate BBO was saying. And it's very funny to me that they're very comfortable trying to run with the narrative that, she's mentally unstable. And that girl was really trying to push that narrative. And Mao, for the first time, I was like, okay, I appreciate what you're doing, because Mao was like, okay, just because Nicki is doing what she does in public, you guys are quick to call her mentally unstable. But there's a phone call that leaked about Advocate BBO screaming about Ice Spice. not once did we hear you say that, well, it must mean that she's using. So that is reserved for what? Based on what? It all comes down to the fact that the only difference between Nicki Minaj and Advocate BBL is the R word. That is it. Because you cannot tell me that for one person, they never brought up what Cardi B was saying. And for that girl to try and say that just because Nicki Minaj is calling out Jay-Z, she shouldn't have a problem with Jay-Z. And I'm like, how would you know her experience with the industry? And this is what Ma was trying to tell them, that she may know things that you don't know about. So to utterly just dismiss her because you don't know what she's talking about is careless. And Black women like this deserve to experience the worst kind of Karens. That's what I'm going to say. For them to understand, for them to understand where others are coming from. We get it. You might be cool with that person. I mean, you might have been promised an interview or stuff like that. But to utterly sit there and start diagnosing a woman is wild to me. And that boy, the Rory boy, the YT guy, said something like, oh, Nicki herself has admitted in the past of doing, and then he then went ahead to say, I'm not saying that she's still doing them. So what was the point of bringing that up? There's a lot of things that Advocate BBL has admitted to doing herself. We don't see you making that an opener to a notion. We don't see you opening up a statement with, well, Cardi B has admitted this in the past, but you always do that when it comes to Nicki Minaj. How pathetic. And then when this woman crashes out and you guys are doing this, you're the first people who'll be standing on the sidelines to say that, oh, look at her, she's now crashing out. But clearly, what was this? I'm going to insert that part. And let me know, you guys, if it makes any sense, really. And as for Damaris, really, I do hope that she gets to experience the highest levels of Karens. But then again, women like her can meet Karens and they will fold and shrink themselves for the Karens to shine. So, of course, they're never going to really feel the impact of Karens because they have no problem shrinking themselves down for other women of other R words. But anyway, let me insert what they had to say. I'm sorry, you guys, my energy is a little bit low because it really hurts me when I see stuff like this happening. I don't know if I'm just an empath or what, but I take it personal, really. When I see people acting in a way like this, when I see unfairness being propelled like this, and when I see evil seem to prosper like this, when I see evil having a chokehold on people like this, it really just, I don't like it. I don't know. I just don't like it. Let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about this and what did you learn with this? Do you now see that we are our own worst enemy? Until my next one, see you.
Of the things that are being said, information that is being fed both ways, a lot of pillow talking, a lot of,
so the
group chats.
The rumors that Nicki is schizophrenic or on drugs, right?
Why is that the rumor?
There's been because of the things that the rants that she goes on, people would say that they don't connect. Accusing Jay-Z of trying to kill her and ruin her career, or of like that whole Jay-Z Rock Nation thing. Even when she was arguing with Cardi, she was throwing that out there. Like, she's been attacking Jay-Z for like a year now, damn near. Mm-hmm. So, and it's just certain things that, like, saying that, oh, they set Juice WRLD up to be killed on her birthday, like things like that. Like, Maul, I'm asking you as like a barb, like, are you not seeing anything weird or like maybe anything like a red flag? Like, this is not making sense. Like, this is not normal human behavior.
Yeah, but I'm not tying drugs and schizophrenia into it. I think that Nicki is just saying things that she feels. Maybe she has information that we don't have. I mean, I don't know, but I don't go to drugs and schizophrenia. Like, if we didn't hear that Cardi rant about Ice Spice, would one say she was on drugs, and when she was on the phone yelling at whoever she was yelling at, somebody would say that's a drugged out, her tweaking out on the phone? No, just because she's not tweeting it, but she's actually yelling it over a phone.
Okay, so there's a difference between like getting upset about something. People don't attribute you cussing somebody out or going off to drugs. Like that's just you just mad, you pissed the fuck off. When shit is not making sense or like connecting.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe she has information we don't have. This is Nicki Minaj.
You think Jay-Z is out to ruin Nicki Minaj's career and is doing everything?
I don't think that. I'm saying Nicki may have information where she thinks that. I can't call somebody drugged out and schizophrenic because they're saying something that I'm not informed about or I don't believe.
Okay.
To me, that's not a fair, to put that on somebody is not fair. Now, do I think going on Twitter and expressing that is the best thing? No. I think that's like, why would you even do that? Like, because first of all, nobody cares on Twitter. So going on there and expressing these things that you feel are true and you think are real, for what? Like that doesn't, people on there, they're just going to use that for memes and to say you're on drugs and like, they don't care about that. So to me, expressing it there, to me, it makes no sense. I never understood why people run to social media and express things like this as if people care. I promise you, people do not give a fuck. But I just can't go to diagnosing somebody with schizophrenia and being drugged out because of what they're tweeting. I'm not doing that. I can't do that because sometimes you do that and you're wrong. And then now you look like an insensitive person because it's like, oh shit, this person wasn't just going crazy on their Twitter and saying things like that was really happening. And sometimes it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not here to diagnose somebody with schizophrenia and being on drugs. I don't do that. I don't run to that.
I mean, I don't know. Nicki has obviously spoken about drug abuse in the past, but I'm not saying that means now she's still on drugs. But I think it's erratic behavior on both sides. Diagnosed or undiagnosed, is just erratic and insane stuff that I think is going to bleed outside of just Twitter. Because of course we've seen things in rap battles, shit that was just on wax still go further. But sometimes people have held back because it's like, oh, it's just a rap battle. This is statements. You don't think the Brims love culture? You don't think the Mac Ballers love Papa Bear? Like this isn't a battle anymore. There's people attached to all these statements about kids. You don't think there's other people that love these children too? That don't think this is funny? Which brings in now you insert Cardi's sister and things like this who are getting involved in shit. And it's just like, it's really, really, it's nasty. It's disappointing as a fan, a person who has been a fan of, I've been a fan of Nicki since I was in ninth grade, 8th grade.
Cardi too?
Yeah, that's well documented. But I've been a fan of Nicki damn near my whole life. And as a fan, it's just like to see the switch in this where it's just like, why are you doing this? Like you don't have to do this. Not a delusional fan, not a barb that can make excuses for certain behavior. I'm not making excuses for certain behavior. At some point, you have to look and be like, why, like as a fan, like, why are you doing this? This is not necessary. Why are you doing this to us? Why are you making us have to come here and sit here and defend you or come up with excuses for the things that you're doing? Yeah. Why this? You know what I'm saying? Like just, you are still capable of making good music. Just do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you, for years when people were trying to stick up for her when it came to Lil' Kim, and then you're sticking up for her when it comes to Cardi, you're sticking up for her when it comes to Megan, you're sticking up for her when it comes to Lotto. At some point, it's like, it is not everybody just wants to hate Nicki Minaj train. At some point, baby, we have to acknowledge that you might be the problem. And the barbers are gonna come, I don't give a fuck. Like it's tough as someone who grew up knowing all the words to Warning. It's fucking tough. Like, I mean, we've had those conversations for years. We've acknowledged that there probably was an entire scheme to get Nicki out the fucking paint. But we've also seen Nicki shoot herself in the foot and be her own worst enemy a lot in reacting to these situations. But again, with that said, if this was just the two of them rapping back and forth and some things went over the line, whatever, I feel like everybody would be like, just, it's a rap battle. That's women's business. Just let them do that. I just don't think this has anything to do with rap anymore. And
I don't think Zoo plays about his child. I don't think Offset plays about his child. I don't think the people around them play around their children. Like, this is just
it's really
far past anything we could discuss in the history of Cardi and Nicki.
Well, we've seen, I mean, I don't, I remember Little Kim and Foxy. I remember Hot 97 and what happened. So, we know where things can go. We know how shit can go left really fast. Hopefully that's not the case here. Hopefully somebody, I don't know who's, next to these women, who's in their ear, who they trust the most. But somebody needs to intervene and, try to stop things before they go left and go to a place where, one, we don't want to see it go. And two, a place that it doesn't need to go.